Jonny Mother Effin' Kim, a Navy SEAL, Harvard-trained physician, and pilot turned astronaut. His resume reads like a real-life Captain America, with Kim's incredible accomplishments equaled only by his exceptional collection of watches. In this video, we'll discuss the G-Shock, Rolex, and Omega watches worn by the SEAL, MD, and astronaut. Because if there's one truth in this solar system, it's that Lieutenant Commander Kim is crushing life with a great timepiece on the wrist. Remember, a watch is never just a watch. Watches of Espionage is curated by a former CIA case officer with a passion for timepieces. On the WOE YouTube channel, we explore the intersection of watches and the military, intelligence, and national security. Be sure to like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon to be informed when we release new videos. On 08 April 2025, a hatch opened and astronaut Jonny Kim floated into the International Space Station. These crew changeouts are straightforward, taking place 2 to 3 times per year. But Jonny Kim isn't a normal astronaut, and the watch on his wrist for the big moment wasn't a normal watch. It was a steel Rolex Daytona, one of several intriguing watches worn by the son all of our mothers secretly wish we could be. Jonny Kim's larger-than-life accomplishments read like something out of Hollywood, having served as a U.S. Navy SEAL before attending Harvard Medical School and ultimately finding his place at NASA as an astronaut. But Kim's beginnings were more humble than most, having been born in 1984 to Korean immigrant parents in Los Angeles, California. The future SEAL and astronaut's upbringing wasn't easy. His father was killed by police after threatening his family with a firearm in 2002. Hard times make for hard men, and that same year, Kim joined the U.S. Navy, dead set on becoming a SEAL, the start of an incredible career trajectory that is mirrored by his journey into watch collecting.
It liberated me. It taught me I'm not the scared little boy I thought I was. I can do these things, that I can be a part of something bigger than myself. It became the benchmark for me to do so many more things in my life. Because I don't think I was meant to be a SEAL. I don't think I was born to do any of the things that I've had the opportunity to do, but it's because of those experiences.
Starting in the early 1980s, naval special warfare transitioned from Seiko dive watches to the newly introduced Casio G-Shock that offered a host of digital timekeeping functions in addition to being more durable and affordable than the analog divers of the time. When Kim graduated with Buds Class 247, he was likely issued a G-Shock DW6600-1V, one of the most commonly issued watches for SEALs in the early days of the global war on terror. Quickly qualifying as a Special Operations Medic, Sniper, and Point Man, Kim conducted over 100 combat missions over 2 deployments to the Middle East. In addition to the Bronze Star with V device and numerous other awards, Kim received the Silver Star, the United States' 3rd highest decoration for valor, for repeatedly exposing himself to enemy gunfire while rescuing injured members of an Iraqi partner force. In photos and videos from the era, Kim is seen wearing the G-Shock DW6600, a watch made famous by the 2014 film American Sniper. In the film, SEAL sniper Chris Kyle, with whom Kim served in Iraq, is portrayed by the dreamy Bradley Cooper, and the humble but effective G-Shock makes several prominent on-screen appearances. Kim's use of a G-Shock as a tool of warfare appears to have launched a lifelong appreciation for the utility of watches that would follow him throughout his incredible career. In 2009, Kim was accepted into the Seaman to Admiral program and completed his undergraduate studies at the University of San Diego in 2012 before returning to the Navy as a commissioned officer. Soon thereafter, Kim applied his learnings as a combat medic and entered Harvard Medical School, where he qualified as a medical doctor. Inspired by Scott Parazynski, another MD who later became an astronaut, Jonny Kim applied to NASA and was selected from a pool of over 18,000 applicants in 2017. As you'd expect from a real-life Captain America, he kept busy, adding naval aviator and flight surgeon to his already stacked resume, while working on his qualifications as an astronaut. Kim came into the limelight when he was announced as a member of the Expedition 7273 crew to the International Space Station. From what we can tell from NASA's training videos, it's during this period that Kim seems to have become more invested in watches, having been photographed wearing several Rolex models as well as an Omega unit watch produced for the SEAL teams. Starting in 2024, Omega began delivering a version of its Seamaster unit watch to SEALs, complete with the trident on the caseback. The trident is the SEAL insignia, consisting of an eagle clutching a U.S. Navy anchor, trident, and flintlock-style pistol. Omega's SEAL Seamaster is only available to current and former team guys, proof that the best watches are earned. Kim's Seamaster is also among the first we've seen in the wild, meaning the former sniper must have had his finger on the trigger when the announcement went out within the community, the kind of forethought that shows he's a real watch guy. True to the use your tools ethos, Jonny's Seamaster isn't relegated to formal occasions or his Navy dress uniform. Instead, seeing action during NASA's non-stop training operations in the lead-up to Kim's first spaceflight in 2025. When it comes to space travel, Omega is the brand that gets the majority of the shine and marketing benefit, having outfitted NASA astronauts with various Speedmaster models since the 1960s. Omega's position in space, and particularly on the Moon, is well established. But Rolex also has an impressively deep history with astronauts, dating back to the early 1960s. The Omega Speedmaster was the official NASA-issued watch, and the only one approved for extravehicular activity, or EVA. But many astronauts, including Edgar Mitchell and Jack Swigert, wore Rolex watches in space travel's early days, with many more astronauts wearing a variety of Rolex models on Earth and in space in the ensuing decades. For Jonny Kim, Rolex is a significant brand for two communities he calls home, with a strong heritage among astronauts, but also NSW, with many SEALs over the years saving up for a Rolex Submariner to commemorate a re-enlistment, significant deployment, or promotion. Whether Kim owned a Rolex while serving as a SEAL is unknown, but as the final preparations for his trip to the ISS came together, Kim was photographed wearing not one, but two Rolex models, a GMT Master II and a Daytona. The first Rolex on Kim's wrist was a GMT Master II Pepsi on an oyster bracelet. As a model family, the GMT Master is the Rolex most closely associated with astronauts, with at least one example having been worn on the Moon by Edgar Mitchell during Apollo 14 in 1971. When Kim started wearing his GMT Master during NASA training operations, we wondered whether the SEAL-turned-astronaut might be bringing the Rolex Pepsi with him to outer space. But here's where the plot thickens. In the final days leading up to Kim's spaceflight in early April, while the astronaut was conducting training and media appearances in Russia, he was photographed wearing yet another Rolex, this time the legendary Daytona chronograph. It's not as prolific a watch in terms of space travel history, previously worn in space on two documented occasions, but the appearance of a second Rolex in Kim's arsenal was a surprise and a powerful indicator of the astronaut's inclusion in the watch nerd community. In many ways, the watch makes sense because its analog timing function is a reasonable backup for critical functions in space travel. At this point, you'd be forgiven for stepping back from the story. It's awesome to see a guy like Jonny Kim wearing great watches, including packing a Daytona for his trip to space. But that's gotta be it, right? As we've proven more than once, this man is full of surprises. In photos from 06 May, Kim is seen on board the ISS wearing a remarkable third Rolex, this time the iconic Submariner. This means the astronaut used a significant portion of his allotment of personal items to bring not one, but two serious watches with him into space. The question then becomes, will the GMT Master also be making an appearance from the ISS? Only time will tell. At WOE, we believe that watches are tools and talismans, providing genuine utility as well as a home for shared experiences. The use your tools ethos means taking your watches with you and using them as intended through all of life's adventures. A point of view Jonny Kim, the former SEAL, MD, and astronaut, can clearly get behind. While we don't know anything about Kim's politics, we're already casting our vote for Jonny as the President of the United States in 2028. Thank you for watching. Be sure to like, subscribe, drop a comment, and hit the bell icon to be informed when we release new videos. For even more, check out our website, watchesofespionage.com, for more content, as well as our collection of watch straps and other purpose-built tools designed for our community. Until next time, happy hunting.